The adventurer climber looked up the top, eager to plant the flag on the high of the Aconcagua. He was near, about 10 steps of the Cementerio de los Andinistas, cemetery for mountain climbers who died on Cerro Aconcagua, the highest peak in the Americas, and he could feel the hopelessness that perpetuates the history of those who fall without planting the flag of their country. They were buried there, as attested by their own unpreparedness, irresponsibility, or bad luck. He tried not to think, he just avoided to feel. His foot was planted on the ground with strength, in a desperate attempt to see himself bigger than the act. The guide approached calmly with a smile and an apology. Today, they would not go anywhere. The weather changed quickly again. It would be impossible to reach the top in the coming days. He tried to reply, fell silent, immediately remembering the cemetery. He was comforted by the guide. He would not face yet the icy wind of the mountain, but the guide would show him the secrets and mysteries of the Inca Bridge. On the way to Las Cuevas in Chilean border, we find one of the most famous resorts of Argentina. The bathing in these waters are recommended for various diseases, and the natural features of the region rivalize with the mystery of its legends to make us enchanted. In 1965, a devastating avalanche destroyed the beautiful Hotel Puente del Inca, who had previously survived many disasters. It was solid building, sumptuous, with underground access to the thermal baths. In this area emerged the hot springs of mineral water that bubble without stopping. The evidences of the slip are still there, revealing a cascade of rocks that rolled abruptly to the valley. Fortunately, guests and staff were miraculously saved by taking shelter in the little church that remained intact and can still be seen today. Located in the Andean Cordillera, 2,720 meters above sea level, the Puente del Inca or Inca Bridge is famous for being a natural bridge, unique in the world, declared a natural monument. It seems that was formed by the action of the water's excessively minerals and by the action of thermal waters in the sediments put in the bottom of a cavity. Due to them, the color orange, yellow, and ochre tints the whole area, and any object that you puts under them remains so much impregnated with the minerals that acquires an appearance of stone. On the right bank we find famous thermal baths with 5 sources of the same type, but with different temperatures and components. Surrounded by mountains, the landscape stretches for dozens of meters below the bridge over the waters of the Las Cuevas River. 47 feet long by 28 wide on the Las Cuevas River. Called the Inca Bridge because the Inca nobility often used the medicinal hot springs that flow from the pools below it. The history of the bridge begins with the Inca Road and its legends. It is assumed that the Incas took advantage of its waters with healing properties. Its fame is mainly due to its thermal baths. The existing buildings, next to and under the bridge, function as small pools through which thermal waters flow, coming from natural sources with temperatures varying between 34 and 38 degrees. The baths are recommended for nervous system disorders, rheumatic diseases, gynecological treatment, children with anemia, rickets, and arthritis. The area is ideal for adventure tourism, mountaineering, horse riding, and snow sports. Nearby is Cerro Los Penientes, so called because its large stone walls, seen from afar, look like huge monks in procession. From the bridge, when the sun shines at dawn in absolutely golden tones, revealing the rocky stalactites, there is a magical world that takes us, drawing fluid rainbows on the water and ice, suggesting fantastic connotations in the nature that has always made this sacred place for the Incas. The name of the place comes from a legend. A long, long time ago, long before the Spanish arrived. The legend of the Inca Bridge. The successor to the Inca Empire was seriously ill. He was a wise and fair prince, like his father, and everyone loved him very much. Throughout Tawantinsuyo, all people prayed to the gods, making sacrifices and offerings for their health. But the prince only got worse, and everyone feared that his death would put at risk the future of the empire. Consulting the Amautas, who were the wise men, they were told that the prince would recover his health if he could bathe in the waters of a certain distant place, to the south, among the rocks and mountains of the Cordillera. There, they said, water flowed that could cure all diseases. However, getting there was difficult because of the distance, the desert areas, and the mountains to climb. Without wasting time, the Inca ordered a retinue to be prepared to accompany the prince and left Cusco in the morning in search of the Great Waters. At dawn they headed down the road, with many llamas, loaded with food and everything needed for such a long journey. Despite their concerns about the prince, the trip allowed them to see a part of Tawantinsuyo that left them enchanted. The long trip led them by the abrupt mountains, peaceful valleys, desert fields and lush meadows, rivers, streams, moonlit nights, and days of gold and light. For many days they were on the way, sharing with nature and their gods a unique experience. By day the sun gave them all the shades of green and colorful of many exotic flowers, the greatness and the splendor of nature snatched them. At night, the spectra of giant mountains put them before the unknown with astonishment, noises and sounds as if the land spoke to them with a voice that only they could understand, repeating the echo on the cliffs, in the vastness of the valleys. Then, as an announcement that they were near the goal, they stopped, paralyzed by the sight of the mountain more beautiful and mysterious that they had seen. They were in front of the Aconcagua, the highest peak of the Andes, and its powerful Apu, the mountain spirit. Overcoming the surprise and the enthusiasm, they went ahead, and after a short walk, in which many hares crossed their path as if to greet them, arrived late in the afternoon to a ravine. Downstairs, embedded in the ravine, ran a mighty river, which was advancing, invincible, on the rocks. The sound of the capa, a great trumpet made of a large marine snail with a spiral internal channel, broke the silence to announce that they had come. However, there was nothing to do. The hot springs were on the other side of the ravine, inaccessible. An utter dismay befell them because of the impossibility that presented itself. They stood there all night, waiting that the sun, father of all the Incas, would bring a solution to the problem. In the morning, as if led by the power and love of the sun, which all the Incas are children, the soldiers of the retinue, warriors of Inti, the sun, began to embrace each other, forming a human bridge so that the son of the sun could reach the other side. The Inca walked on their back, with his son in the arms, and thus he could reach the hot springs, finding the cure for the boy. When he looked back, to thank the warriors, they had been petrified and became what we now know today as Puente del Inca or Inca Bridge. Perhaps this is my favorite legend for what it represents. The Great Tawantinsuyo was really like that. The power of the sun combined with the strength of men and women of the kingdom, forever in search of perfection. This legend represents many things. There is the divine presence in all stages of the path and all the discoveries, and there is the human side, seeking to overcome their difficulties with union and faith, never giving up on their goals and fulfilling their duty to the end. This legend certainly expresses Tawantinsuyo, the Inca Empire, in its simplest and at the same time most important form, the land of the gods, the home of the sun, a nation of warriors. Some say that, when night arrives, when the hills are smoky, enveloped in misty veils of surprising shapes, one can see a caravan of strange figures pass by, as if out of time, in silence, crossing from one mountain to another, eternally seeking for the healing waters. If the Incas are right, the prophecy of return is about to be fulfilled in 2033 when Pachacuti will complete 500 years of destruction. To continue following our search for Paititi and the return of the Inca, subscribe to our channel. Like, comment, and share. Inca greetings.